Alright. Is it working? Looks like it's working. Yep, it's definitely working on Picardo, which is good. I'm actually seeing if I can stream to like, I don't know, YouTube and Facebook and jazz at the same time or not. Testing something out. I don't know if it's working or not, but it's working on Picardo at least, so we will carry on, and I'll just look at all the stuff later on after the stream. And I'm a little distracted because my coffee is almost ready. I just wanted to get the stream rolling first for everybody. Sounds coming through on both Picardo and YouTube. Nice. I don't even know how to look at Facebook. I'll look at Facebook later.
You want me to look at Facebook for you?
If you're in the mood. It also doesn't look like it's streaming on X, but I don't know. I'm not going to troubleshoot stuff live because that's boring. I'm going to see what works now, and even if we get streaming set up on all the other places, I'll probably still focus on the Picardo chat because it's just easier to look at one spot. Oop. Yep, today we're going to be working on this art print for the GarageBand campaign, which is not live yet, but we're hoping to launch it this early summer, spring. It's possible that it might actually be running during CouchCon. That'd be convenient if we can get it all aligned to go at that point. But we got the cell shading done on Rihanna yesterday. We got Rami and Zach in the background. We might do a little shading on them. I don't know if I'm gonna go nuts. And mainly I've got all these bold color choices and pizzazzes and strokes, and it's going to be a question of sort of adjusting how much color we want versus how much more naturalistic shading. I think we're going to keep it pretty bold, but there's still a little bit of work to do. And then after that, we've got Sabaton Tower shading and a really, really involved Andruna cityscape to look at. Did I finish my tower? No, I got a lot of progress on it, so I think I might be able to get that done today after Rihanna. But first, I just heard my coffee. All right. Sorry for that interruption. The coffee was ready. You guys know how it is. Madam says everyone's migrating to YouTube after Twitch drama.
Good.
I was not even aware there was Twitch drama. I mean, I guess there was if you say so, but I'm kind of out of the, because it's the other thing too is like isn't there like always Twitch drama of one flavor or another? Aren't they always like, oh, Twitch is doing this or Twitch is doing that? I remember actually that's why we moved to Picardo a while back, is because Twitch was like, you know what, we're going to allow artists to draw nipples after all, and then artists were like, sweet, and they started drawing nipples, and then they were getting like instantly suspended, and they're like, what? Why are you suspending us? You told us that this was fine. And then Twitch was like, we were joking. Whoops. Actually, the person who is in charge of the credits has been sacked, and now we have some new rules again. It's the old rules. Gotcha.
Twitch's drama.
Yeah, and it was like kind of... So at that point I was like, you know what? It would be fun if there was a place where we could actually draw boobs. Let's go on Picardo.
Instead of your secret boobs.
Mhm.
Secret boob hour.
Freaking Blade Twitch is drama. I'm not going to dispute that. That's probably accurate. Alright, let me get myself oriented here. What exactly would I like to do differently in this image? Well, now that I've got the big bold stuff established, I think I'm going to go and add a little bit of nuance. I want some ambient occlusion lighting in the background. Yes, I know we have like a gigantic splatter thing there, but I still think some lighting and shadow will still give a sense of depth to it. So now that I got these big picture things done, I'm actually going to turn them off for the time being. Make a little ambient occlusion lighting layer, put it on multiply, and let's get some shading on here. I think this graffiti needs to be a little bit weathered. Because even like black paint is usually going to have like some shine or some glossier areas on it based on the angle it's at. Yeah, it definitely looks better, sort of roughed up a little bit. So we can subtract some, and then we can put some back on there. Droplet. Yeah, let's do some droplet and turn the opacity down a little bit. That might create sort of like a nice textured feel. A little bit distressed, and then let's just add our nice medium back in there. There we go, and then we can take a little bit more away. So that is, again, if you have never experienced the wonder of layer masks, that's the nice thing about layer masks. And if you change your mind, you can just toss that layer mask out and you have not lost anything on your original layer. Because if you start doing all of that erasing and stuff right on your original layer, and then like, 30 minutes later, you decide, you know what, I have changed my mind about that. It's like, well, it's erased and it's probably lost in the distance behind like too many undos where you can't retrieve the original information. So layer masks are just a really good way to play with stuff, and you don't lose any of the original content on the parent layer, I guess you could call it. Now my instinct from doing all the orphanage docs, which have like really, really shitty boards, is to do lots and lots of shading in between every single board because they're so uneven. But I think in a half pipe, probably the boards are going to be a little more well put together. So I'm still hitting it very slightly, but it's not going to be... I shouldn't give it the full like raggedy orphanage treatment because otherwise it's just going to be a death trap for anybody that skates on that. And Rihanna, we don't want you to die. You need to live a long, healthy life. That's why I think later on in the comic she actually quits smoking, which that's good. You don't want to be a smoker. That's bad for you.
Alright, you've got people speaking Russian I don't understand. I just want to say thanks for inspiring me to do manga. I'm working on 5 of them, and I had made my first manga, which was a Grinch adaptation.
Oh, nice. There's people... Yeah, actually,
Check on YouTube.
I probably should have mentioned, quick FYI to anyone that is watching this on YouTube. First of all, hello. We tried turning on a multi-stream button today, so that's why you're seeing it. But we are monitoring the chat a little more closely in Picardo, so if you do say something over there and I miss out on it, I'm not trying to be Mr. Too important to read the chat. Liz, you're everywhere? Okay, Liz, you're pretty awesome. Plus, as people on Picardo know, I just miss messages everywhere because I tend to get... I'm not too important, but I'm distracted and cannot chew gum and walk at the same time. That's beyond me. That's a skill I don't possess.
Say hi to Ty Cloud.
Ty Cloud, good afternoon.
He's asking, do we have anyone in the military who fought in a war? We don't.
I don't think so. Plus, I think I'm not the military holiday expert, but I think that would be like Veterans Day is if there's a veteran that's fought in a war. It's like we're like, thank you for your service on Veterans Day. And then Memorial Day is like, thank you for your service to anyone that got killed in your service. Because, it's like remembering the memory of people that are no longer here, because otherwise we wouldn't have to remember them. We'd just be like, hey, thumbs up.
Well, we don't. A lot of people say that Dreamkeeper is a Full Metal Alchemist of webcomics.
Oh, thanks. I'm glad you think so. Well, we will hopefully continue doing stuff, and we're going to make more Dreamkeepers. So there's more Dreamkeepers in my imagination where that came from. You guys, coffee is so good. Like
Do you have anything in your coffee?
I put a little bit of coconut cream in there. That's it though. Just coffee and coconut cream, and you're equipped for a good Monday. I'm just in a good mood. So overall, thank you to people that enjoy the comics and the illustrations that we make, and thank you for like supporting what we do and like watching streams and reading things and sharing with folks.
First time seeing our streams on YouTube.
Oh, it's the first. Yeah, we used to stream on YouTube, and then we were streaming on Twitch for a while. So we've just been bouncing around, and now I'm trying to like. Usually, it's the last thing on my list to like. It's time to mess with settings and optimize the number of places I can technically stream. You know, I'm just like, I want to draw some boobs today. Today, I want to draw mysterious temple settings. I'm always focusing on like the next comic page, but today I was like, you know what, we should. Well, especially because like we're still growing on YouTube, and it's like I have like YouTube. I've been so mean to you. I have been ignoring you. I'm like, YouTube, I don't have time to make videos, and then I just neglect YouTube like a bad person. And then I look over there and it's like, okay, we're still having our numbers go up on YouTube. What the hell? And so it's sort of like, you know what? Maybe I should try to have a little bit more effort in there, just to. Like, if people are still looking at our stuff on YouTube and they want to see more, maybe I should try putting some more out there. So it was sort of like one of those bare minimum things where it's like, maybe since I do streaming twice a week, I should try to hit a button so it also goes over there. Let's try that out. So we are trying that out today. It looks like I messed with the buttons. Excuse me.
Somebody in Russia is calling us old.
Someone in Russia is calling us old.
Yeah.
I'm one of the ancient ones.
We're established.
Liz is like, we're established. I'll take old. That means that all of the people who have tried to destroy us so far have failed. Still alive, still making things.
Somebody's inspired by you. Godessa was inspired by you.
Oh, thank you. I hope be inspired by the smart stuff I do, and then be inspired by the dumb stuff I do to be like smarter than me, and then you'll have the best of all worlds. I either want to be someone that you can admire or a cautionary example. But either way, I'd like to help make the path easier for other people if I can. That'd be nice.
Say hi to Cargo.
Cargo, good afternoon. Just putting a little bit of texture on these cool pine trees.
Well, you know, we could grill hot dogs tonight if you want.
It is nice out. It is, and plus, like, people tend to grill on Memorial Day. They're like,
Or you could have soup.
yeah, there's one more round of soup in there, but it's not really enough for 2 people. It's really just like 1 bowl of soup remaining.
Well, you know what, we could do hot dogs and you could have soup on the side. And there's some bread.
There's nothing that goes with grilling like soup. That's really my ideal. It's like, let's fire up that grill and make some soup.
Duck soup goes with everything.
Duck soup goes with almost everything, but I maintain it doesn't really make sense to be... I don't know. On the other hand, I've never tried it. Maybe I shouldn't knock it. Time to grill up some soup. Let's call this gradient. Spelled wrong, which is my style. I love to spell things wrong on my layers. Makes me feel uncontrollable, like a rebel. That was a good batch. Good batch of Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola. Oh, yeah.
I'm glad. I'm glad if the Coca-Cola comes in handy.
Oh, the comic is old, not us. No, we know. We know.
Although the two are linked. If the comic is old and we made the comic, then logically, by extension... I don't know. I don't mind getting older. It's better than the alternative, I think.
I was also hoping that one day you would work to help develop a game they're trying to work on titled Fever Town based on the Friday Night Funkin' mode of the same name.
Oh, cool.
Well, that's nice.
You say they're working on a game?
Yeah, and they'd like it if we help.
Nice. Well, I will say I'm probably spread too thin to really be much help right now, but still, thumbs up on
They should keep working on it.
doing a game. Yeah, especially because right now we're producing a game ourselves, and it's like takes a lot of elbow grease, takes a lot of work, and so I feel like I should make sure that we get our own bun out of the oven successfully with that video game before I start jumping around and be like, and I'll do this and that. But even so, like, kudos to you for producing a game. Keep at it, and I don't know, hit us up on social media when it's done so we can like go and like look at it and stuff. I'm gonna actually put on. Thank you. And again, it's gonna be really fun, I think, when let's make this purple. It's gonna be really fun when we get the pizzazzy layers put on top of everything. This is just adding a little bit of lushness to the whole thing, I think. Oh, the local Starling gang has arrived. We got a lot of squirrel action going on lately too.
Okay, so question. Into a bit of the lore. Did Dreamkeepers mention anything about the last Power War, or have they done the best to totally get rid of any mention of powers in the lore?
I would say historians in Andruna absolutely have a lot of records and details. Like, so the last War of Powers, it's in their history. They're aware of it. There's probably, like, I'm sure that they're foggy on some details, and it's the sort of thing where, like, well, this historian thinks it happened this way, and this historian's like, no, actually that guy was not as cool as you think. He was actually really an asshole, and here's why. So, just like people have competing, you know, views on, like, say, Napoleon. But at the same time, there's a lot of history, it's established, so there's a lot of interesting friction about how it really was, but people still generally know the big picture facts. I would say the last War of Powers is a lot like that in Andoruna, because it did happen within their living, well, not their living memory, but it happened within their memory, and they had writing, so a lot of stuff was written down, and there's all sorts of historical documents. Now, things during the Silent Centuries that have much more difficulty kind of tracking, because of course during the Silent Centuries, if you wrote stuff down, you would get your hand chopped off. hence why they called it the Silent Centuries.
So the game they're working on is based on the manga they made, and they added Batman and Spawn to the manga.
Oh, cool.
Batman's cool.
Batman plus Spawn. Like, I feel like Batman and Spawn could actually get along pretty well. I don't know them that closely, but
First they fight and then they're friends and they team up.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Ninja Turtles do all the time.
100%.
And the Power Rangers.
Mighty Morphin. Yeah, if you do have the manga you made up where anyone else can read it, if you want to share a link in the chat, you're welcome to do that. Of course, everybody... you never know if there might be a stinker sharing links in the chat, and they're like, ha, I got you, virus achieved, so I cannot vouch for the super safety of anything that gets posted in there, but generally, you know, everyone be careful, but if you want to share some links with each other, I think that's fine.
Started playing League of Legends. Which DK character were most likely enjoyed the game? I bet Nama and Vamp.
Oh yeah, definitely Nama and Vanth are sort of like the ones that are the most into gaming. Especially Nama. Like, I don't think we've seen a lot of that yet, because in Prelude she hasn't gotten her screen time just yet. But Nama, you know, especially being like a literal shut-in.
Okay, so Volume 6 spoiler. I don't think it's a spoiler.
Mm-hmm.
Can you give me a small hint? Is there a scene in Volume 6 where characters share a sleeping bag to stay warm?
Is there a scene in Volume 6 where characters share a sleeping bag to stay warm? I will say, I don't think it's a big spoiler. We don't have a specific scene like that planned. But, you know, in the actually in the first scene, they are out there and it's cold and there's, like, sleeping bags. So it could be implied that maybe they have to do that to huddle up in their survival training. But we don't actually, like, stop and, you know, depict that part of it. Like, the part we depict, they're up and about.
Oh, Sharon Bone is gonna rickroll us.
It's gonna rickroll. Oh, no. That should be what we broadcast into the depths of interstellar space to make contact with an alien race, is a rickroll.
I think it's a war cry.
They will not think it's a war cry. They will think, all right, this stellar system does not deserve to exist. It's time to press the erase button, the big interstellar erase button. I read a sci-fi book once where they had a probe that accidentally woke something up like on one of the moons of Jupiter, and then suddenly this thing started like broadcasting messages to Earth and firing warning shots.
Question, Ringkeepers.
Oop.
Is it the Full Metal Alchemist of webcomics?
Question 4. Is that a question for us?
Yes.
Are we the Full Metal Alchemist of webcomics?
I've never seen Full Metal Alchemist. I don't know.
I sort of like it if someone's like, you're the blankety blank of webcomics, or you're the blankety blank of this. Like, I'll probably just say yes because it sounds like it's likely a compliment. But to be honest, I have not. I'm a naughty consumer. I have not yet seen Full Metal Alchemist.
Okay, yeah, I don't get it. So if you were in the Silent Centuries and wrote down an IOU, you'd get your hand chopped off.
In the Silent Centuries, yeah, you would have to have. They had to have ways around writing, like using language. Like you might, I don't know. They had to have some way of keeping track of some basic things. So maybe the equivalent of like an abacus, or I know they had like knotted ropes that they would use in like ancient Aztec and Mayan cultures. I forget which one of those it was, but they would have actually like an elaborate system of tying knots on a rope to keep track of things. But you couldn't write things in a language, or you'd be in trouble.
Breaking the law.
Yeah, breaking the law. You might write something that's not flattering to the powers that be, and we could not have that.
Sending spicy memes.
You know, no anonymous internet in the Silent Centuries. But
Because does Mace like being called short?
does Mace like being called short? I don't think he would like go nuts and get upset about it or anything. But I think he'd sort of be like, okay. Like, I think he'd be a little bit indifferent to being called short. And he never feels too bad about that because he looks right over to his side and there's Whip, who is way shorter. So, you know, can't be that bad.
He's not the shortest.
Yeah, it's like, no, I'm not. I'm taller than this guy. So he kind of uses Whip a little bit as his frame of reference. He's like, yeah, no, I'm pretty tall. Oh, Raimi's.
Media Hunter Review said that we were the Full Metal Alchemist of webcomics.
Oh, well, thank you to Media Hunter. It's nice that anyone's even reviewing webcomics, honestly. That's I feel like there's such a underappreciated medium.
Whip doesn't hate being called little.
Whip is above it. He's a little too aloof.
I need more Coca-Cola. That was really good. It's not even hot out, but on a summer day.
Would it be cool if you're like, I could go for a Coca-Cola, and then if I started shilling health alternatives to you really hard, would that be appealing?
Would you give me a Coke when you do that?
Potentially, if I'm out and about, sure.
Like you rat on me, but also give me Coke?
Yeah. I'm not gonna make you drink my ginger juice though. That's just too intense. It's too intense for a female like Liz.
Oh, and I'm supposed to want it now?
Yeah, it's reverse psychology. Can you tell? You'll be like, I'm against sexism. I'll drink this ginger juice, idiot, and then you'll drink it, and I'll be like, ah, David, plot achieved. But seriously, if you ever want to drink something with a lot of kick, juice some raw ginger and drink the juice. I would suggest you water it down a lot.
Whip doesn't mind being called little, because thanks to being short and cute, he gets to touch the boob buds.
Yeah, exactly. That, like, he sort of like leans into that. That's his secret superpower. Which I think actually the Prelude comics we're reposting now, that's kind of getting to that part of Whip's utility. Is he's going to help Mace run cover for Mace as Mace raids the lingerie shop. There we go.
They like that you're streaming on YouTube.
Oh, they like that I'm streaming on YouTube? Okay, cool. Well, I'm glad that you like it. I should try to do this more often. I still have to fiddle with the buttons and see if I can figure out how to stream to Facebook and Twitter as well. Or maybe I am streaming to Facebook and Twitter. I don't know. I'm paying attention to
Art?
Rihanna doing a sick skate trick on a half pipe.
You do that. I'll check.
Ooh, this is a good layer to keep around forever. Giant white screen. Goodbye. I do not need that layer no more. Checkerboard source. Keep that around just in case. I'm gonna put these refs all in a folder so they're not hanging out here, taking up space.
You're not streaming on there, you just posted the link.
Okay. So I just gotta tinker with the settings on the X and etc. but it seems like it's working to stream to YouTube, so that's nice. I tried using Restream for that, and it was like, you can't do it unless you pay us $19 a month. And I was like, how about no? But then I figured out a way to do it for free, because there's just a plugin you can stick in OBS, and it's like, okay, now you can stream to multiple sources, and you don't have to pay Restream $19 a month. So I was like, okay.
It's really terrible that in order to draw, you have to learn technology.
Well, you don't have to. You could just draw without learning technology. But if you want to draw and also get people to be able to see and enjoy it, then yeah, technology is kind of...
Is juice, ginger, and lemonade stronger? And they're asking about ginger.
Oh, they're asking about ginger. What was the question?
Okay, first of all, do you know ginger beer?
Ginger beer. I've heard of the phrase before. I don't think I've actually had it.
Is your juiced ginger stronger?
Probably. Like, there's no alcohol content if ginger beer has alcohol. But juiced ginger, like, I can't even drink it straight up. I take like a little spoonful and I put it in a whole glass of coconut water, and it's still pretty hot. So if you actually just juice raw ginger, buckle up, because you're gonna go on a ride.
Okay, so Mambo was saying DK of webcomics, Citizen Kane of cinema, Beethoven of music, Shakespeare of literature, and Miyazaki of animation, etc.
Aw, thank you, Mammo. You are very kind.
Yeah.
And now my objective will be trying our best to live up to all of the hype.
Shirombo loves ginger beer. No, ginger beer has no alcohol, I guess.
Oh, okay.
I wonder if it's ginger ale.
I have heard of ginger ale. That's kind of what I want to create with my ginger juice, but I think I need to add way more sweetener, and yeah, I need to like water it down a lot more too, because otherwise it's just like too intense. Speaking of too intense.
Oh, now we are the manga fire tripper of webcomics. I don't know what that is either.
We just need to put all these phrases into a commercial. We're the manga fire tripper of webcomics. We're the Harry Potter
Literature?
of magic series. We're the Full Metal Alchemist of mangas on the televisions.
Do you like Sonic? Well, we're better. Do you like Disney? Well, we're not.
Do you like, and then just like list
We're good
every franchise that exists.
That you like?
It's like Ninja Turtles combined with Power Rangers, combined with Sonic, combined with, and then just do that and like.
Combined with Sailor Folk.
Do you love Sailor Moon? Do you love this other thing? We're just gonna ask until we get a hit. We're just gonna ask until we get a hit, and then we're gonna say, then come here.
If you like it, it's us.
If you like this thing, you will love other thing. I mean, I'm joking about it, but honestly, that sort of verbiage actually, like, people like what they like already,
Okay.
and that sort of stuff
Question.
can sometimes convince them to come and look at something new.
Oh, I'm so glad I'm with you. Question: is the dream world portrayed as the future? And yes, I do. I've loved Rumiko Takehashi's work.
Rumiko
I
Takayashi.
don't think dream world is the future. I think it's an alternate.
Yeah, it's not necessarily the future. It's actually supposed to be sort of analogous to our present world, just in a parallel dimension, effectively. Filter,
I
blur.
agree with Mammal. I can't keep enough of the art.
Aw, thank you.
Well, we gotta make more.
I do want to make more.
Your Florida Man of Days headline.
On the Florida, that sounds like it could be. Wait, that sound.
Not bad.
Beep, beep, beep. Potential insult detected.
Am I being insulted? Jamie, Google the.
Am I being Jamie? Googled. Am I being insulted?
No, I don't like that.
Ooh, what I do like is putting a little bit of glow on an extra layer of this burst. Look at that.
It'd be funny if Whip made a face at Tinsel upon meeting her, and she's like, "What's wrong with him?" Your response. Oh, he doesn't like that.
I think if Whip ever met Tinsel, it'd be a serious risk he'd get lost in the valley. Just dive into that cleavage and you'd never see him again.
Yeah, I don't think he'd care. Maybe he doesn't know who Tinsel is.
Tinsel would have to do a deep drilling operation to get him out. She'd have like an oil rig. She'd get the Oak Island treasure team. She'd be like, we need to extract him. He's in there somewhere.
Yeah,
We don't know the exact
except for-
location.
Except for being on Grun's posters, I don't think he knows Tinsel.
Alright.
Memo has a little anniversary. The Stream Cooper AI folder is now 25k.
Oh, nice. Wow. Congratulations on your anniversary. 25k is a lot. I think this character wants a rim light.
I bet you do.
So that's what we're gonna do next.
Okay, so there's no flying cars in the dream world.
Yeah, no flying cars. In fact, their transportation is a little more primitive than ours.
Yeah.
Their data scrolls and their display tech is kind of a little more advanced, at least at the time we started making the comic. But their transportation, they don't even have combustion engines. And
Everything Memo has posted is originally posted.
nice. And the reason their transportation is not really up to speed is because so much of their history they had like literal superpowers. There wasn't as much need to invent transportation stuff.
You don't need to drive them, you can just fly around.
Yeah,
Makes
exactly.
sense, really. Why would they do that?
Yeah, if you could just like hire one of the people that can fly to like fly and do stuff, and plus they had this is more of a geopolitical reason, but the fact that they're sort of landlocked into the Andruna area and there's not a lot of exploration outside of that city-state zone, it just reduced the need for like, you know, developing like long-term transportation stuff. And they had manicales and carracks, and that helps you get around town as well.
I suspect Amelia Rule is a BBW. And I'm like, what's BBW?
What is a BBW?
Big, beautiful woman.
Oh, that's cute. BBW, big beautiful woman. I think Mrs. Muller would probably encourage that kind of assessment a little too much. We'd have to constrain her. Like, Ms. Muller, you're supposed to be an example to those around you.
Memo has made her younger and skinnier.
Yeah, I've seen those. She actually, it's like, yeah, that's a Miss Muller time capsule when she was younger and skinnier. There she is.
They have the little glowy scripts that teleport. No.
Yeah, they do. Although the telepad technology didn't really come online until just relatively recently in their history, thanks to Sinter getting ripped off by the government. Sinter with his gigantic chip on his shoulder.
Mace meeting Nuasha. I think Nuasha has furry ears.
Yeah, Inuyasha's the guy with the red kimono and like the white ears. I saw him in high school. I saw some of that in high school. I remember Inuyasha a little bit.
You're old.
I am old. I'm alright though. Like, honestly, I will say,
Evelina.
alright guys, coming at you, you're gonna get old. Here's what to expect. What to expect is, seriously, it is worth it. It's worth your time to stay in shape. And,
Do you plan on being super old?
do I plan on being super old? Yeah, I want to be like 100 years. Like, the way I view it, I'm just getting started on my artistic career, honestly. So, I've got a lot that I want to do, and it's going to be cool, and I need to maintain high levels of energy and productivity to do it.
Okay, so Center invented the telepad, but he was arrested for trying to make them free to use.
Yes. Well, I don't know if Sintra was in the process of making them free to use, but he invented the telepad, but he did not apparently apply for all the proper licenses and research grants, and it was unlicensed research. He had no license. He was not paying taxes on what he was doing. He was just focusing on the invention itself. And then, so the government was like, hey, you're breaking the rules. In fact, you're breaking the rules so much, and we have so much to gain by taking this from you that we're really going to throw the book at you. And they did, and then he went to prison. And once he was in prison, he really started having to think, because
He had a lot of time to think.
he had a lot of time to think, which was very bad for Andoruna. But he actually comes from a bit of a crime family. His family fortune was black market type of stuff, illegal things. And Sinter was going to be the guy where he's like, you know what? That's not me. That's not my life. I'm going to be an inventor. I'm going to create things for the good of all Dreamkeeper kind. And then the government.
Oh, you got a squirrely friend.
Oh, I got a squirrel out there. But yeah, Cincher started out very like young and idealistic, and then decided, oh, so this is how it is. Well
Oh,
then.
they don't like me. They don't like technology.
Oh, so this is my reward for being good. Well, and then he's the Cincher we know and love today. I think I'm going to bring the black lines back, so I'm not really paying attention to how much these overlap the black lines right now. Ooh, yeah, this rim light is going to be where it's at. I can already tell.
Red lights are good to you. Alright, so on YouTube, the Griff Ninga, Brother Chris, they're robot people called AS characterists. They're modeled after the robots from Roly Poly, Ollie, literally living in a world that's like the Jetsons in front of Trigger.
Nice. Is it a, like, do you have a website or somewhere people can read it, like a DeviantArt or something? Yeah, because I will say, like, it's fun to get quick descriptions of things, but if you really want people to scope it out, there's nothing like showing it to them.
There can only be one Full Metal Alchemist.
Even if they're like, I heard this was the Full Metal Alchemist of webcomics. If I'm like, it is, and they're like, so where can I check it out? If I'm like, nowhere.
You should become immortal and get a Philosopher's Stone.
Immortal. I don't know about immortal.
What's a Philosopher's Stone related to finding gold?
The Philosopher's Stone, yeah, kind of. It was the alchemists were trying to turn base metals into gold, and they thought that if they could get the ultimate formulation using the Philosopher's Stone, it would do that. And in the process, it would also give them the secret to immortality. But of course, the sort of deeper notion behind that is that turning base metals into gold is supposed to be symbolic of actually turning like the more base parts of your soul into a higher level of existence. So really, like, the people that interpret it that way are like, oh, any philosophers, any alchemists that were actually messing around trying to actually turn metal into gold, they were sort of missing the point. They were falling for the lure. The real thing is actually about refining, like, your aspects of spirit. But you didn't hear that from me. I think we're going to put some more gloss into her hair as well after this rim light, because the blonde hair is just too much of a punchy, bright, potentially colorful element here. Cincher read Das Kapital, didn't he? I don't know. I'm not sure if he'd be closer to Karl Marx or Ayn Rand. Honestly, I kind of don't have a specific political philosophy in mind for him that directly tracks to a real world parallel. I sort of want him to be just like what he is in the dream world, and then to the degree it does match up with anything in reality, like people can sort of like make that conjecture on their own, but I don't want him to have it be totally explicit. I want it to be more of like a fantasy story that exists within its own space, and then people can enjoy it, and they don't have to be like, oh, if I like this character, that means I have to be on Team A or Team B in the real world, because I do think that's one of the nice things about fantasy and fiction, is that it should give people the option to sort of evaluate questions about even some political stuff and human nature and like motives and I don't know, but the ability to like explore those things without all the real world baggage and complexities and like because in the real world, if you're like, oh, I'm on this side or I'm on that side, like it's just gonna be there's a.
Yeah, so does Cincher read a lot?
Does Cincher read a lot? Yeah, I would say Cincher's like a fairly prolific reader. But I think he skims a lot. He gets to the core information as quickly as possible. He doesn't like linger too much.
Somebody says you can actually turn lead into gold with a super collider.
Oh, you can. Well, alchemy accomplished then.
Problem's over.
The problem is over, as Cool Cat would say.
Yeah. Okay, there's a post on their channel that features some trading with another species. Alright. Do you do artwork with Fluff Kepler?
I don't know if we've ever done an art trade with him, but he's a really good artist.
We have drawn his character.
Yeah, that's right. We have drawn one of his characters. I forget her name, but she was like the sexy.
It's like Ayn.
Yeah, AYN. I think one of the readers, 1 month, because every month the backers vote on a fan art piece for us to do. So 1 month they voted for her, and so we've got a cool fan art piece of her on a stripper pole with the indigos.
I'm gonna send him the original.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's right. So yeah, and then we sent him the original art from that because it's like, hey, it's your character. Have some originals.
Oh, it's 10 now.
Sweet. Have a nice afternoon.
Oh, I really like the rim light.
Yeah, the rim light I think is
Oh, the fabric looks good.
great. I'm gonna put this into a folder just to take the lines out.
Great meme. There was an artist drawing a nude figure.
Yeah.
And it turns out he draws nude figures because he can't draw people's clothing.
Ba-dum-ts.
Yeah. Your clothing is too hard to draw, so I'm just drawing nude.
Clothing is hard. Time for more dongles. Alright, this is looking pretty sharp. I'm gonna...
I own that art print.
Oh, nice.
The twins, yeah.
Then you must be an Art Attack backer. Probably a good time for me to shill our Patreon. There, consider it shilled. There's art prints and stuff at different tiers. You actually get some physical things in the mail, which I think that's fun. Like, we can't do that for every tier, naturally, but, you know, if people are kicking out 20 bucks a month for us, and we can afford to mail them some stuff for free, that's pretty cool. I like trying to provide a lot of actual value to people, where they can, like now, pick something up and be like, oh yeah, I actually have this thing, it's tangible, and it belongs to me, and I can look at it. I can look at it multiple times.
You can do that?
They can. She's going Super Saiyan. Let's select these lines again. Inverse, mask, there we go, we have our lines back.
She looks like Paige without the patch on.
Yeah, a little bit, actually. They both have the blonde hair, at least.
The difference between digital and tangible art is the feeling of actually able to possess it and more feeling behind it. So yeah, they like getting the physicalness.
Yeah, honestly, like, I feel the same way. Even when it comes to books, especially when it comes to books. Like, I know it's like, well, you're just trying to sell people books. I guess, yes, if people want them, but also, that's the reason I'm in the book selling business, is because I love books. They're just, it's like you can hold it in your hand and flip through the pages, and it gives you like this incredible experience. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love animation and stuff too, but books, it seems like it's a little bit more gratifying because it involves more of your imagination when you're reading it. I think that to me is one of the things that define different types of media, is how much of your imagination does it actually leverage. If you're watching television or something, then typically it doesn't leverage a lot of your imagination, unless there's like some mysteries involved and it gets the noggin jogging a little bit, but generally everything you see in here, like, that's it, you get the experience. Whereas in a book, like a comic is another layer removed from that, because in a comic you sort of have to, your mind will fill in the blanks with how it sounds automatically, and even the blanks between the panels. So you're sort of, part of the narrative is being constructed inside your own imagination, even though you don't realize it. And then you read a novel, and it's even more like that. In a novel, like, your imagination has to actively participate in the generation of everything that you're experiencing. And the words are effectively just prompts for your imagination to create an experience for you. So that doesn't mean that any kind of media is better than another, but it's just, there's something about books that I think really helps to stoke the imagination and keep those embers alive when you experience stories through books.
Alright.
Let's do some glints and glows on the eyes. And then I think we're looking at probably...
Typhoid likes audiobooks because he can multitask.
Oh, nice. Yeah, audiobooks are even another example of something where if you're like following the narrative of the story, like, then your imagination is probably even filling in the blanks for like what is happening, you know, physically and visually.
Happy guy made a funny little picture.
Oh, cool. Lilith picture activate.
Check that out.
Oh, that's a
We're
Memorial
all
Day Lilith
candies.
for sure.
Look at that cape.
There's a reason people died for our freedom, and that's it.
It's cat girl season. Cat girl month.
Yeah.
It's epic. You would probably not draw that. You could though.
Oh, it's like a lot of things.
I imagine Igraf being more of a Memorial Day guy because he was in the war, even though he didn't die in the war.
I know we did a Dreamkeeper's calendar a while back, and I want to say that we actually made Igrath. There was like an Igrath sticker for Memorial Day.
Yeah.
Like the calendar had these
Maybe it was
stickers.
Veterans Day.
Veterans Day. It was one of those.
Oh, Mamo did that one. Mirka, Daruna.
America, Daruna.
Terrible. Alright, so they are just artists, but they also do artists too. But the reason they do adaptations is to bring them more popularity. And they're sad that the animated films from decades were canceled, but they have brought them back. Alright, cool. Better than doing live action.
Yeah, better than like a live action remake or something for sure. I'm not, I don't know, I'm not gonna be like, they shouldn't exist, no one should ever make them. It's like, if they, you know, they've got money, maybe they're making some profit, maybe it's fine for like a business decision, but I just don't really personally have any desire to look at the...
Well, they ruined Ohanami's family with the latest Lilo and Stitch. Did you hear about that?
No, did they, how do you ruin Ohana Meets Family?
The ending.
Perfect line,
No, the
mission accomplished.
Nani leaves for college and leaves Lilo with the neighbors.
Nani leaves Lilo with the neighbors?
Yes,
What?
Yes, she's like, no, child services can have the kid.
What? That's like the entire like emotional crux of the first movie was that they wanted to like stay together and make it work somehow, and then Ohana Meets Family. We're gonna find a way together. In the remake, that she's just like, bye Lilo, I have to go get late at college.
Yeah.
Whatever, neighbors, someone else, take her.
Fine, I'm ready for my replacement.
Again, I'm not gonna say like how dare they, because
Live action Disney is fucked up.
because you know what, the thing that I feel like is, I love the original Lilo and Stitch movie, and there's the original. I have it on DVD. They can't take it away from me.
But they want to.
They want to, but they can't. So yeah, physical media, like no joke, because I don't know how someone can adapt something when A, the original's kind of flawless, but then B, it's like you completely fumble every single last element that made it appealing to begin with.
Is there a Disney movie you would want them to do a remake of? No.
You know, I feel like there's some Disney movies, like maybe some of the old live action ones, like isn't there one with like a black hole and a robot and stuff like that? What if they took their shitty old live action movies and then made 2D animated version remakes of them? What if we reversed it?
The Atlantis movie.
Oh yeah, the Atlantis movie. I haven't seen that in a long time. I want to watch that again sometime. Because I don't know if that's if I want to put that on the to own list or not. But I don't know. I definitely don't imagine it would need a remake. Probably not.
They were upset that Gantu wasn't in the live action. Yeah, I thought they animated Gantu and he wasn't there.
It's kind of at the point where I can understand someone being like, I was upset Gantu wasn't in the live, you know, but I'm just like, I'm not upset at any of it, because that's sort of like, to me, that's sort of like being like, yeah, Gantu wasn't in this total piece of shit. This total piece of shit did not have any gems in it at all. And it's like, yeah, it's just dookie. There's not going to be any good stuff in it. It's.
They like the movie The Wild Robot, but it's not Disney.
I've never seen The Wild Robot, so I guess that's on my list of like I should be open to watching that sometime.
I guess some of the Atlantis characters were hot as fuck.
They had Wild Robot had hot aliens.
No.
Is that what I'm hearing?
No. The characters from Atlantis were hot as fuck.
Oh, they did. Disney had some really attractive characters back in the day.
There was a fox in Wild Robot.
Even going back to like Ariel the Little Mermaid, it's like, you know, Ariel was cute, Princess Jasmine. I don't know, just like characters that are appealing and attractive. It's like they don't really do that anymore for whatever strange motivation, but they used to. Maybe it's a generational thing, though. Maybe it's like, I'm old and I don't like the new Disney movies. Maybe...
A live-action Treasure Planet would be neat. Oh, they ruined that one somehow.
Maybe the new generation of kids is like, man, the live-action Lilo and Stitch is so skibbity, like, tight. It's got Riz to the Raz on Drip Street. Like, I don't know.
They really don't have to.
If that's what they're like, I don't want them. But it looks like we've got an art print. I think this is pretty good. It's punchy.
You can't even see the trees back there anymore. You do.
Well, I could turn this down a little bit if we want to see the trees more. Hold on.
Yeah, you should.
Where's that burst? The trees are nice. I do like how bold this is, but maybe I can turn down the.
But they remember Ariel's butt, and that awoke something in them. All right, you the outsider. This is a bit late. How was your weekend?
Our weekend was nice.
What did you get done?
What did I get done? I don't know. I've got like a planner. It's a whole list here, but I have to turn back to last week.
I thought you did work on any assumption. You did some volume 6. You got a volume 6.
Yeah, volume 6 page, blued and penciled in. I got the first act of the Lost Sun campaign outlined, and I still have to get it typed up, but I've got the story itself outlined, which is kind of the more crucial part. I got half of the Rihanna shading done on the last Friday stream. I planned out what we want to do for CouchCon, mowed the lawn, crucial, mowing lawns.
Oh, this looks like an easy page. There's some rock texture, and I don't know the colors underneath.
Yeah, I had to do a lot of design work on that fortress, but now that it's there, the fortress is actually, I think, relatively straightforward to color. Like, if you're confused about anything, I can tell you what all the different stuff is. There's like a roll gate, there's some cannon emplacements, but they're wrapped up in canvas.
I'm just making this bright pink to annoy you.
No, don't make it all bright. It's not a bright pink base, Liz. Don't threaten me like that.
Scaring you.
Although we do have to decide what color we want, like, the stone in the windpipe to be.
I know. I don't know.
We could always go for just like stone-colored stone, but it's the dream world, so it could be like turquoise.
No, maybe. I like turquoise, but I always like the purple. The purple is classy.
Yeah, we could go for purple, but I think we'll have to look and make an executive decision on fun stone colors. What do we want? All right. Well, I think we've got our GarageBand print. If you refresh, you can see what it looks like in the final version.
As you said, if they designed Captain Amelia wrong in live action, of course they would.
There is no way you can do Captain Amelia in live action and expect it to hold up. It's just not possible. Alright, Rihanna's looking good. This is going to be one of the rewards on one of the GarageBand campaign tiers. And, of course, if you want to check it out, I think you can read the comic now, so you know if you want a book or not. GarageBandComic.com. So let me start poking around, and it's time to get some more shading on the lore for Dreamkeeper's Ascension, I think, is what I want to do the rest of today. Because we have this illustration of the Sabaton Tower, like, partially done. I got the sky painted, but I really want to get into the light and shadow and all these tiny buildings. Ah, yes, that's what I was doing, is I was just adding color variation to all of the teeny tiny little buildings here. I also want to mess with the horizon line, because I know there's some mountains, especially in the Rust Coal district, it's not totally flat, so I should actually go ahead and like get some rises on the land there. Not sure if we're going to see all of it because there's going to be a good deal of atmospheric perspective, but even so.
Oh, yeah, no. I thought this was done.
Nope, it's close to done, or at least it feels like it's close to done. So I kind of feel like we are south looking north right now. The Rust Coal mountain range is up here.
Oh, they want the Sketch of the Month spa idea to work.
Sketch of the Month spa idea.
I've been mentioning little fountains and water fountains.
Actually, I haven't even looked into what the new round of ideas is yet.
Yeah, you gotta do that on Friday.
Yeah, this Friday it's Harvest Day, so we'll have to scope it out and
Harvest time.
try to pick like the best batch that we can and then let people vote. This month's sketch of the month was so fun. It was really nice being able to finally like introduce Aura a little bit.
They have a chapter that is a mix of Boondock Assassination and anime.
Oh, fun.
Sounds like an amazing fanfic of everything they like put together.
Yeah, Boondocks.
And Spawn and Animaniacs.
I've never heard of a Boondocks Animaniacs combo, but that could be fun.
Tower looks like Falcon Heavy. I don't know what Falcon Heavy is.
Falcon Heavy. Falcon is a bird. Heavy is the opposite of lightweight, so it means it looks like a fat bird.
It's a fat chicken.
It is a fat bird. I don't know why it's a fat bird, but it is.
I don't know. Is that the Starfall Mountains on the left?
Yep, Starfall Mountains are. If you're south looking north, you'd see the Starfall way out there.
Say hi to Shotgun.
Shotgun, good evening. It's probably going to be mostly taken out with atmospheric perspective, but still having a little something out there is, I think, cool.
Yeah.
I'm actually even going to blur it a little bit. Not a lot, just a little bit. Because that's another thing that really distant objects will start to have a less distinct contour sometimes. So Chomp's making work for us. And by us, I mean thank you for taking care of it, Liz.
I know, I have to clear out your closet. Move the carpet. Oh, is Aura more likely to be attracted to Mesa's ass?
I can't talk too much about
I can't.
what she would think or what. Like, I feel like we gotta keep it to her name introduction, her color swatch, and then after that we gotta kind of like
So wait and see.
let the story take over from there.
She's from the Grun.
She's a huge Grun fan.
Grun band. The Grun.
Team Grun, go.
The Grun Chronicle.
It was inevitable. He had to have a fan somewhere.
All the girls love Grun. Grundockies.
Grundaki, they exist and they have sold. So,
We don't know why.
so there are girls out there or guys out there that had a good time with that.
Dave, that tower's making me think of the Imperial Palace in Elder Scrolls 4.
Oh, thank you. I've heard good things about Elder Scrolls, so I'm just assuming that that is all good news.
Oh, they get Mace love triangle vibes for some reason. How many triangles is Mace in?
Mace is in all the triangles. It's his favorite symbol.
Lilith loves generic background guy number 44. I don't know who that is, but I believe it. Hopefully they can get a Grun model before he steps into Bee's trap. I'm looking forward to coloring that page. I bet I can have it done for you on
Really, that volume 3, that volume 6 one?
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool.
Oh,
Oops. It'll undo. It'll undo.
nobody saw anything. Is there anything in the East Nightmare? Soil.
Anything that eats nightmares. You know, I would say there's a lot of predators in the dream world, like just predatory creatures. So not every nightmare is going to be something that they're capable of handling, but, you know, or if a nightmare got injured or crippled, or if there's a scavenger. Some nightmares have, like, you know, some strange poisonous properties or other stuff going on that would make them perhaps not as tasty as other creatures.
They own over 40 Princess Satsuki prints alone.
Oh, cool.
What software are you using to draw?
What's up? I am using Clip Studio. What does it say? Clip Studio Paint EX.
Somebody has decided that's also because the Dream World is located in New York and it's inspired from the Dream World and Dreamkeeper and Pride Dog form from Family Guy.
Oh, nice.
So we've got a Family Guy Dream. How do you know how to shade mountains that well?
I would just say probably a lot. The lame answer, of course, is just a lot of practice. Like, we started having mountains in Volume 2 of Dreamkeepers, and, you know, started shading little nooks and crags and crannies, and so that probably helped to get practice with that. And then from there, we're just I don't know, we've done a lot of shading. Plus, it's sort of like shading a mountain is almost like shading any sort of stone surface, and everything sort of applies in terms of like, well, how do you shade this shape? It's all sort of like just the same way to have light. Even the clouds up here, that's almost the same as shading a mountain if you think about it. You just sort of like get the volume in your mind, and then you figure out which places would catch the light and which places would cast a shadow. Well, honestly, the clouds are literally the biggest portion of this image, so they probably have more relevance to the overall feel of what I'm doing. So I think that might be why I did the clouds first.
You remember that we went on a trip somewhere to get inspiration for Volume 2. We went to Hocking Hills, Ohio.
Yeah, we went to Hocking Hills, because I think we were doing that anyways, and I was like, oh, this is perfect for Volume 2. Let me take out my little camera and get all these photographs. But yeah, Hocking Hills was cool. There's like all these gorges and like little cliffs and trees and waterfalls and cabin, yeah.
Oh, they're mowing their lawn. They hired people to do it all.
Welcome to the lawn mowing stream, where you get to hear the relaxing sounds of other people mowing their lawn.
Every day. And then was reading about it on the push button phone back in the day.
Oh, cool.
Okay, you've given them lots of inspiration about the this.
Oh, thank you. Well, I'm happy if we can inspire and help spark off more people's creativity. That's really nice to say, and it's really nice to hear, so thanks.
I think you fudged that circle in the middle. It's not like round.
Yep, that looks like I drew it by hand. Which that's one of the things that's pretty difficult to do, is drawing a circle by hand.
Corbin likes to draw when we do streams.
Oh, cool.
So what they do on landscapes and stuff is, from far away, they usually make the shapes and draw the rest on a mask.
Excuse me.
You use one single layer, paint the shapes in tones by approximately.
Yeah, it's fun, like, hearing how other people do stuff, because there's a lot of different ways to sort of approach these different
I
illustrations.
thought it was crazy we went somewhere just for a comic. We were going anywhere.
Yeah, I think it was the sort of thing where we were going there anyway, and we're like, oh, if we're going here anyway, let's definitely get some reference, because this is going to be... Actually, I don't even remember. It was so long ago. I don't remember if we went there and then I was like, oh, this would be great for Volume 2. Let me get a bunch of photo reference. Or maybe we went there, I took a bunch of photos, and then after the fact I was like, oh, this is perfect for Volume 2. Let's use a bunch of these photos. Yeah. We were there a couple times. Well, the reason we were there especially is because it was like pretty close to where we lived at the time, so we could just drive out there. And also, it was free, because it's just, you know, the outdoors, so you could just go there, which is pretty nice.
Are you using a tablet?
Yep, I got a tablet right now. Which, let me tell you, the tablets, they do make things easier. Volume 1 and Volume 2, I colored those with just like a hand mouse, like a point and click roll mouse. And you know, that's what we had at the time. But once I actually was able to get like a tablet, then life got easier, and I feel like the quality of the illustrations started to pick up as well. I would not want to go back to a point and click mouse for coloring. I don't think that would be optimal.
I do.
I know you did. Well, you've got a tablet. I don't even know why you use the mouse, but it's,
Faster. I'm good at it.
yeah. But it's gonna be like whatever works for you. So that's the fun thing about art, is whatever works.
In terms of getting used to painting with canvas in college, I wouldn't mind doing it again later, but experimenting with acrylics, I had patient clean on layers 2 or 4 days left.
Uh-oh, I thought I was doing all this on more grads. What layer was I on?
What layer were you on? We don't know what you're doing.
I was on slopes grads. Okay, that's fine.
You know what you're doing.
As long as I wasn't on like one of the original.
Do you know what you're doing?
Do I know what I'm doing? I think I know what I'm doing. Is that the same? Does that count?
So the early volumes were made with mouse and keyboard. Props to you for that.
Yeah, thanks. It's just, you know, that's what we had, and I didn't really stop to be like, well, I need better equipment. I was just like, I want to make a comic time, go, and that's what we did. I want to continue improving my pencil style, like my line art style, because I feel like to a degree, I feel like the better I can get my pencils, the more it sort of almost doesn't negate, but like reduces the need for extremely immaculate shading. I feel like if I can get my pencils tight enough and appealing enough, and if there's like enough life just flowing through the lines alone, like obviously I'm still gonna do shading because I want to bring the settings to life. I need to bring the lighting and like the space and the volume to life, but especially when it comes to like some of the characters and the action, I think the shading will actually be freed up to focus on like the lighting and the environment a little more, because it won't really have the need to define character volumes as much if the line work is really working overtime. I don't know, I'm just always sort of like trying to like reach for levers that I can pull to make things even more the way I want them to be. I feel like the style is always kind of like growing and like a plant reaching towards the sun, kind of like starting to get closer and closer to what is going to be like the optimal sort of achievement for it.
They're gonna make Aura fan art.
They're going to make Aura fan art? Cool. Yeah, there's almost, well, because she's brand new, so there's really not much Aura fan art out there, but that's cool. If you make it, please feel free to show it to us somewhere, if you're in the Dream Court or if you're on social media or something.
I'm excited about her tattoos.
Yeah, especially if you intersect those with the Serapian lore, you can start to, even though we can't really tell you a lot about the character, you can start to sort of put some things together. Just getting some different colors of greenery and plant life in here. This is definitely like a spring or a summer shot. It's not winter. Alright, and this is just sort of the substrate, the ground.
Judging by Aura's tattoo, she's probably a daughter of Seraphim.
Ah, they're figuring it out. Or close to it. I forget if I'd actually have to look at the lore book and refresh myself on my notes. All right. So I believe we were continuing. Now that we've got all of this nice substrate, I was just putting some various colors on these buildings.
And I'm guessing she may have started as a slave, seeing she's got tattoos all on her.
Oh, it actually is. I really like it when the world is cohesive enough that people can look at things without being told exactly, and then they'll just like understand what's going on because like the lore actually is consistent.
Or without a big word balloon, just maybe.
Yeah.
Or like a narrator page.
Hopefully that'll be one of the things that the lore book can also like just accentuate, is sort of just adding more to to the lore, so people can really dig into it and just help the world come to life a little bit more. Just making things different colors. Like these aren't going to be the final colors. I'm just getting some defined colors down, and then I can go through and mess with different nuance. Kind of looking forward to making more maps too for the lore book. What are you laughing at? What do you mean my love of maps? I don't love maps that much. I'm just talking about making more maps. It's not like I interrupt Thanksgiving dinner with the family and start talking about maps. Like, I'm not obsessed with maps. But I do want to make more. Seriously though, like, because we've got the map of Vanderna, we've got the map of the overall dream world. Actually, for the Vanth Prelude, we had a more zoomed in map of one section of the Calypso district. And I'd like to, for the Andruna section, have maps that are like a map dedicated to each district, so that people can actually see more of like where the different features are and like different parts of town, and literally, and I think that could be really fun. Plus, even having maps that are zoomed in on some of the other regions of the dream world, so there's more detail in some of those settings. Because I have a lot of lore, and the lore book is going to be focusing on sort of new areas that we haven't covered before. Oh yeah, I can't wait to finish off the current, well, quote unquote current Vanth Harmony arc. But we needed to split it up and get the other characters some attention.
The world of Dreamkeepers reminds him of Amatrus and the Hell of a Boss world that's being held.
Oh, thank you. Well, I'm glad it inspires and reminds you of stuff. It's nice.
Yeah, how long was between the last time Dave did a map and the most recent update, new maps?
I remember the last time he drew a map. Sent many men to their deaths. I feel like if I was a billionaire, that'd be fun to do a reverse treasure hunts.
What?
Yeah, like a reverse treasure hunt, where instead of going out and looking for a buried treasure, I would like bury a treasure and then make all these like maps and clues that could like lead people to finding the treasure.
Your grandkids would hate you.
My grandkids would hate me. Maybe it's to spite them, you don't know.
Alright, so they know that the next Prelude arc is Vanth and Bast.
I do think we did, yeah, Nama, TV Terror. We're in the Mace. Yeah, we're in Candy Crook. Next one is going to be Vanth and Bast. I suppose it would be remotely possible we could throw in like an arc that's just like a really small one for some of the other side characters, but I'd like to jump on that Vanth Bast arc and get that particular little chunk polished off.
Oh, people keep asking Mammal about the series.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
You should respond with, "What do you ask of me? Do I not give you enough delightful images? Now you're interrogating me."
I say it must be a challenge for doing it all, right?
Yes, that is why I write things down. And why all the story arcs are, like, written out, and we know, like, what the character motivations are and how they transform and all that
Somebody
stuff.
has a Flintstones manga.
There's a Flintstones manga? It's like Fred Flintstone getting more powerful.
It is a crossover with Dreamkeepers and Tamberlane.
A Dreamkeepers Tamberlane crossover, that's fun.
Flintstones.
Is that the one with the Flintstones?
Yes.
This is sounding like an acid trip. I feel like I need to see this comic.
It's got 5 mangas.
5 mangas. Did they link to like where it can be like is it readable or
No.
we're just hearing about it?
Yes. Oh, look.
I'm curious. I'm curious about the existence of these mangas. Could you draw me a map of where I could seek these mangas? Are they buried?
They say it's on a channel and I can't go look at it. So.
You can't go look at it? Why not?
Look at it. It won't let me.
It won't let you look at it? What do you mean it won't let you?
I can't. There's nothing to click here. I can report and block. I can't go and look at anybody's channel. I can't see the manga.
Oh.
Sorry. If there isn't a website, I don't see it.
Oh yeah, well you gotta, if you want to share something with us, you gotta slam a link in there. If you're saying, look at my channel, like Liz is trying to click on your name and all it says is like, you can block this person. It's like, we don't want to block them, we want to look at their channel. But it doesn't give us that option, so you gotta hit us with a link if you want us to look at something.
Only people who come up with weirder story ideas than me are the Japanese and Legends of Abner. It's just, okay. Cool. Her name isn't in the title, so I knew about her.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, because the main characters are more Vanth and Bast, since they pop up in the graphic novel saga as well.
Harmony's a side character.
Yeah, don't tell her that though.
Okay, so there's a Flintstones manga they made, and they're hoping that they make a live-action adaptation with both webcomics, and they will put a link. Good. Good, because I got to see that. I feel like the Flintstones show did everything they possibly could, including like an alien that can predict the future. So that only Fred could see. So. Seraphine has some really cute girls. Is Aura single?
Is Aura single? I cannot answer that question. I can neither confirm nor deny.
I'm not sure if you know. Aura, you know, I always like to play the like, I'll have to ask her. And just leave it at that. It's like, well, I have to ask. That's not for me. They want to hug her tail.
Yeah, her tail is super big and fluffy. I kind of want to hug it too. It looks like it would make the most comfortable pillow that like ever.
You'll overheat.
I won't overheat. I'll blast the air conditioning up and then it'll be perfect. Cruella de Vil. Yeah, she'd be like a Tinsel fan, I think.
I think she should have had a Sasquatch.
Oh yeah, we were talking the other day about Sasquatch, and Cruella de Vil, she should get a Sasquatch coat because that would be the most rare fur coat that she could possibly ever.
Gross.
She'd be, it smells rare. It'd be such a gross a Sasquatch fur coat would be so disgusting.
Alright, so you gotta get a girl with tail twice the size of her body, super fluffy.
Yeah, exactly.
And they wonder what Mace's reaction will be when they realize Laura is topless. I decided I could cover over it at night and hide it in the sleep. Sasquatch are really stinky, yeah, that's so funny.
I have heard,
So
yeah,
everybody knows you're coming.
I've heard Sasquatch are really stinky. I don't think I've ever smelled one for myself.
But you want to.
Yeah, I think most people here heard me spurging out about the local Sasquatch sighting in town.
Sometimes Detroit knows.
click on Detroit, and people are like, no, I'm not gonna click on Detroit.
They probably smell like sewage.
But I've sort of had my eyes out. It's like, well, I wonder, is there a Sasquatch in the backyard tonight? Maybe. Like the squirrels are coming by for the pecans. What if a Sasquatch came by for the pecans? I don't think there's a.
Worse than skunk apes. I think they are skunk apes.
I thought they were skunk apes. I thought it was just like everyone's got a different word for Sasquatch. There's like Bigfoot, there's Yeti, there's Sasquatch, there's skunk ape. There's like, hey asshole, get out of the road. Everyone calls them something different.
I feel like Ormond went flying over the hills.
And here's the
Alright,
atmospheric
so
perspective.
The reason they're trying to make a live-action adaptation of their manga of Dreamkeepers in Neverland is because they're trying to contact a studio about the idea, and yes, there is a channel. Or will perform a Mortal Kombat fatality on Whip. Seeing Ori's reaction to Nama, I can only imagine her reaction to even smaller and seeing Whip touching her. South Carolina has a lizard man.
Lizard Man? Lizard Man sounds cool.
That's a lizard.
Lizard Man, I think, is a lot of potential fun because that seems so much more
I think he has a lot of basking in the sun.
exciting and scientific-y, like science fiction-y, you know?
Would Tinsel make a coat out of one of those green echoes?
If she could get away with it, definitely. There's gonna be some more conflict between Tinsel and the Rio Nekos. Although Lilith did in the recent arc, Lilith did a really good job of running defense for them, actually.
We'll see.
So
Can't say. Stop it.
I'm not saying anything.
Keep it.
I'm talking about what already happened in the recent arc. That is not a spoiler because people already read it.
Whatever.
I have not broken a single one of your rules.
Your rule.
Yet I am told to stop it.
Injustice. Injustice really. I never heard of the Ozark Howler until I played a board game about cryptids.
The Ozark Holler. What's that? Yeah, but like what kind of a cryptid? Is it like a owl that's really tall? Is it a lizard? Anything lizardy is usually kind of cool in my book. I think it's just fun. Lizard people. On the moon. Lizard people on the moon.
It's like a beastly ram.
Oh, cool. Kind of like a minotaur type of a monster.
Or four-legged ram. Sheep.
Alright, I think we've got all of our little colors tweaked and modified down here to the point where it looks pretty city-ish. Pretty nice. Got some atmospheric perspective, and now I think it's time to do actual lighting. Exciting. So first ambient occlusion lighting. Put in lots of little shadows and all this stuff.
You've never seen Dan Dan.
Never seen Dan Dan Dan?
I don't know what that is.
Flatwoods monster. There's a lot of good monsters out there. I need to get more into different types of cryptids. Like Bigfoot is fun, but you know, a man cannot live on bread alone.
Soup.
Yeah, you gotta have some soup.
Oh, it's all about paranormal stuff. You claim to fame talking about it. The first season has a few suspicious roles.
I've heard good things about One Piece, but I'm always like, well, there's 10 trillion episodes. I can't get into something that's going to take that long to watch. But I don't know. Could happen if I run out of easily accessible things, and if it was free somewhere and I could just click on it and watch it, there's a risk. Because pirates are cool, treasure's cool, so.
Have you ever heard of a show called Lost Tapes?
A show called Lost Tapes. No. Sounds fun though. Anything that's like been lost, it's like, ooh, what if they found it?
One Piece is one of those animes that you watch 2 episodes a day over the course of years. Yeah, I don't want to do that. I don't like things that are too long.
I'm always down to like work to something, but I'd rather work to something that's a little more accessible. Like I haven't seen Yu Yu Hakusho yet. I've heard that's good. I think it's also more contained. Something like Cyber City 080. Like I really like that series, and it's only 3 episodes long, which yeah, like I guess they could do more episodes, and if they were done in that style, like if they were as good as those 3, I'd be like, oh, more of this? I could do with some more of this. But there is a certain point where, you know, everything hits a point where it's like, you know what, this concept has been explored. These angles have been evaluated. We know what Wolverine would do in all of these scenarios. There are no more. We don't need more Wolverine. Wolverine's story has concluded. I think every franchise has like a certain number of permutations and like story questions.
Animal Planet documentary found footage shows about Bigfoot and stuff.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Tell them about Zack and the Dragon on Discovery Channel.
Oh, one of our friends watched. There was a mockumentary a while back when we were in college about dragons being real, you know, and of course that was the mockumentary part, was dragons are not real, but this was like a documentary of like, what if dragons were real? And then one of our friends in college, you know, bless his heart, not the brightest though, but he didn't get the memo about the what if part, so he came up to us one guy, he's like, guys, his eyes were like as wide as saucers. He's like, did you know that dragons actually were real?
He didn't know the CG was CG.
Yeah, the CG was he thought that was like video footage, and so we made fun of him mercilessly, as one must.
They did a pic of someone walking in on V bathing in a lake, and she looks like she's about to say, I'm going to kill you now.
Nice. Well, I'm glad everyone's having fun with the fan art, honestly.
Well, there is no link to the manga.
It's just gonna have to exist in my mind.
I know, I'm just
The
gonna
descriptions
have to
are-
imagine,
The descriptions are so rich, yes.
Flintstones in anime form.
What would it be like if the Flintstones were in anime form and they were doing everything that you've ever wanted them to do?
They have a minotaur-like monster that is God. And he's basically a monster in the AS character of Spirit, and they locked him in the Chamber of Callus. And they enjoy One Piece of Futurama.
Nice.
As a kid who almost believed that mermaids evolved from humans.
Maybe they did. There was that cryptid someone mentioned last time about the Japanese, like sort of like whale person. Maybe that's a cryptid that evolved from people that like to swim a little too much. Well, if everyone would stop jumping on it. I mean, the arms are coming off, but the base of it looks like it's solid. It's still...
The arms are gonna break, and that's the rope they're holding on to. I'm gonna have to get a new one.
Maybe we should just reinforce this one.
No. Dave, do you really think there are aliens in underground chambers in Area 51?
Do I think there are really aliens in underground chambers in Area 51? I don't know. I haven't really looked into it a whole lot. I would imagine that there's underground chambers just because, you know, if it's a military base, why would they not have some subterranean element to it? I'm assuming they'd have a basement.
Why no Space Force?
Yeah. But do they have aliens and stuff? I don't know, maybe. The only thing that I'm like more suspicious of with Aliens is the fact that every time there's some sort of a damaging news story that would look bad for our government, that's right when they're like, oh guys, did you know actually we're gonna declassify all these things about aliens right over here, aliens over here, over here. And it's just like, it's a little convenient that this topic only comes up right when there's some things about you that are really embarrassing or that paint you in a really terrible light. What are the odds that the aliens are only relevant when you want us to not think about what you've been up to? Like, if they were just, like, not really talking so much about the aliens, I would actually have more credibility that, yeah, maybe there's aliens, who knows? Like, it's a big universe, whatever. But the fact that they are like, oh guys, we totally have been reverse engineering things, it's like, really? Did you just get caught doing something really stupid and embarrassing? Did you just like ban telepads just now and it's a news story and you suddenly want everyone talking about, okay, yeah.
They're going to a convention on June 14th and they want to see you.
June 14th. I don't think we're going to be at whatever convention that is. Oh. Yeah, we are going to Megaplex in Orlando. What is that, like?
August, September?
Yeah, late August, early September, somewhere in there this year. I forget the exact dates, but we're going to be at Megaplex in Orlando. That's kind of the only furry convention we do now for reasons. But if you're at that one, we will see you. And we also do a local non-furry convention, which is Monroe Comic Con or Monroe Pop Fest. Whatever they're calling themselves now.
Whatever they want to legally be today.
Yeah.
Do the furries still refuse to take showers?
Do the furries? I don't know. At Megaplex, I haven't really noticed too much of any problems because, you know, we're behind a dealer's table.
Yeah, we got space.
So we have enough distance that I would be blissfully unaware if there was any issues like that.
Okay, well, the real reason they're going to the con is to make Vic. They want to meet Vic Mignon.
Oh, cool. Mr. Lasagna. And he'll be like, hello, I'm Mr. Lasagna. Your pasta needs have been met.
Yeah, looks like you gotta block it to save your noses. Okay, well, now we gotta see that art.
Let's see some art.
Do it. Show me. Emma's birthday in a week.
Oh, nice. Happy 1 week from now birthday.
I do too.
Yes, but yours is supposed to be secret. Unless you want to tell people about it.
No,
No? Okay.
but you owe me a gift.
I know. I'll totally care about you and everything. Just you wait. It'll be so cool.
Tell them what we're gonna do.
Whatever you tell me to do. Happy birthday.
You know, you're going to Cleveland. With the zoo. Dragons.
Oh, I like to tell people about those things after they're done.
Alright, sorry. I'm excited. Come on, car rider. Oh, that's pretty safe for work. I don't know.
Oh, cool. Well, I mean, I think you could technically say it's not safe for work if you're like, well, people might not want to see it. But I mean, she's covering stuff up, so I think it's fine.
Good boy.
But still, that came out nice.
Yeah.
Little shadows on little tiny buildings. They're not actually little. If you were there, they're actually gigantic. Whoa. But they're far away, so they look really small.
It's important to put a wall up here to keep the fancy rich people from commoners.
Yeah, you gotta have like a gigantic barrier to keep all the little people out. Although they still let people in for like tours of the Foundation, as we found out in Volume 4, and you know there's a mall in there, but you have to have a current ID and everything to get in. Otherwise,
Wardrobe looks a little risky.
I don't know. They have different values in Serapeum. They're not as uptight about some things. No strong breezes allowed. Yeah, I'm still kind of ambivalent about how that's going to play out in the graphic novels. Because it's like,
She uses tree glue.
treacly, yeah. Bead glue. But it's just the sort of thing where I feel like that's their civilization is different. They wouldn't necessarily always be wearing tops. And the goal is not even because, like, oh, I need to put boobs in the comic. You know, a little bit of that's fine, but I feel like there's already, like, a little bit of fan service here and there and in the story. And I'm not, like, trying to find major ways to put more in necessarily. But that's just sort of like, well, that's the way I think the world would be. So, I don't know. So I want to depict it accurately, I guess. But at the same time, our civilization is like, whoa, that's now not safe for work, and that's really adult. So it's like, well, we could probably do a lot of strategic censorship, but I'm not sure how much of that we can do before it starts to seem silly. So. Yeah, like I think we'll be fine, but it's just the sort of thing where it's like I would like the rating level of the comic to be generally PG-13 R, and you know, but Serapeum, I don't know if Serapeum's gonna blow that up potentially or not.
Or it's got a big tail, so it's plenty to censor with, if absolutely necessary.
That's true. Every shot is just her behind her own tail. Well, plus, like, she has so many beads, I feel like that'll probably do a pretty good job. Like, there'll always be the ability for the necklace to be, like, bouncing in just the right direction to keep things tasteful, I guess you could say. Tasteful according to Andaruna standards. All the little shadows. This is the part that probably just looks like pretty monotonous work, but when you do all these little things over time, I feel like it really starts to build up a nice direction of lighting in the whole image. So I gotta do these little building shadows, and then I have to do the little shadows of the buildings on the ground, which will be the inverse of this selection. No, it's okay. I mean, it could have been done, but it's going to be beautiful. And then after that, my plan on this is, since it's a partly cloudy day up there, I actually want to have some larger regions of shadow and light as the sun is, well, the day moon is coming in through this like scattered cloud cover. And I want to actually maybe illustrate some sunbeams or some moonbeams, I guess, coming through the clouds. Sort of dappling, differentiated light on the towers and on the cityscape below. So I think that could be a really cool look. I think that'll add a lot to the atmosphere here. So that's going to be where I guess like the big picture fun stuff happens, is on those moonbeams and on the dappled lighting that's coming through the clouds. But to get there, still got to do all this little ambient occlusion lighting. Yep. I'm probably going to make this actually more of a blue color too before I finalize it, just because it would be a blue fill light from the sky being so blue. Purple is more of like a quasi-indoor type of shadow color. Or like evening or something. There's also going to be a big shadow from the Sabaton Towers, which will be cool because it effectively acts as a huge sundial across the whole town. Various parts of it, they can probably keep track of like the time of day just based on like, oh, has the shadow hit us yet, you know.
They just have, maybe that tower's giant sundial.
Well, I mean, it would function as it, yeah. Even if they didn't want it to be one on purpose, it's going to serve that function whether they want it to or not. Yeah, I'd say the majority of the dream world is wilderness. Like, there's the occasional little village or lost civilization out there. Like, for instance, there's the region where the Huasi and the Zuboku had their civilization. Although it's mostly ruins, but, you know, you could still potentially find some extant things there. And we'll get into that region in the lore book as well. But yeah, I would say it's mostly wilderness. There used to be more city-states that were scattered across the landscape, but the ancient history sort of eradicated most of those.
Sundial time, half past the CCA building, or quarter to the aqueduct. Attack on that here. It's funny we draw all about the fully close minded, but we cannot see it. But it's not done. It's a work in progress. It's a secret.
Such a tease. Now we'll be forever desiring that Flintstones crossover.
Well, that's how you get a huge audience, is you tell them it's coming, but you never show them anything.
Yeah, sort of like Kung Pao style. I'm coming! Chosen one!
Kind of like Reagan in the Wyatt thing.
I'm coming! Chosen one!
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Reagan's getting closer on Wyatt. I've seen a lot of streams where he's like, I am streaming a comic page. But it takes, I'm hardly one to throw stones. It takes time to do an involved graphic novel.
It takes years. Yeah, but you have like 7.
Well, yes, but they took time. So I know that doing A1 takes time. How are we doing? We're almost all the way around. We just got this foreground layer to do. And we can start putting shadows on the ground. Oh, is there a dove? Dove confirmed.
The little babies flew off already. I don't know where they are.
They're probably in the backyard.
Yeah, but they blend in so well.
Yeah, exactly. That's why they're in the backyard. So no one will ever know.
He said Kung Pao was hilarious.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
Some people from the YouTube stream are becoming free members on Patreon.
Oh, hey, cool. Thanks. I've actually got to update the free members on Patreon today because now we know what the Art Attack prints and pledge pin and all the higher tier rewards are going to be. Plus the high resolution stuff is already for download. So,
You get ready to crash now.
oh yeah,
You left it? About a month.
I got it all organized last night actually in a document. So CouchCon is going to be another sort of like laid back one this year. I'm just going to do some redline clinics. We might do an art contest. We'll decide on that pretty soon if we're going to do that. Chat and sketch. Oh yeah, let's talk about a chat and sketch. That could be really fun. We haven't done one of those in a while.
Paper doll dress up?
Paper doll. I don't know about that.
Oh.
Definitely a red line clinic though, because people seem to really consistently get some value out of that. So I'd like to.
Been hopping in stream. Wanted to ask, will the tabletop book expand on other locations in the dream world lore-wise?
Yes, definitely. That's kind of one of the alternate goals of the Ascension primary lore book. Well, it's gonna. I don't know what's gonna be bigger on the title, lore book or core rule book, because I kind of want it to be like both. I want it to be like, if you just want to read this for the lore, there's gonna be tons of really cool lore. We're gonna explore the dream world. There's gonna be more locations. You'll find out like more creatures, all kinds of fun stuff. But since we're doing a roleplay system, I'm like, well, I should also see if I can have this book pull double utility. So in addition to being just like a really cool, fun to explore lore book, while I'm doing that, what if I just put little stats everywhere, and then people could also use it for their roleplay system? So that way it's sort of a hopefully doing both for people. Like they can use it just as a fun thing to read about lore, and they can also use it to for the roleplay stuff. So that way it could hopefully serve kind of as a monster bestiary, and also like even I want to have like a section in there about building your character, like how to build your own character in the Ascension roleplay system. So I think we can get it all to gel really well. And then the actual Lost Sun campaign, that'll be like a separate campaign book. And then if people really like it, and if they get a kick out of it, then we could potentially do more campaign books. And it would all be, using that core rule book for the core rules, and then the campaign books would be like different adventures and things that you can have. And that is the plan.
They used to have this whole scenario in their head where the nightmares sort of when survivors had scattered throughout the wilderness and abandoned cities like an apocalypse scenario with nightmares instead of zombies.
Oh, that's a cool one. Yeah, I would hope too that there's gonna be enough detail in the lore book that I would like it if people could also design their own roleplay campaigns for Dreamkeepers. Just because, maybe we could design more roleplay campaigns. That'd be cool if we can. But in case people wanted to just exercise their own creativity and do some of their own stuff.
What would happen if the nightmares won? And everyone dies?
If the nightmares won, well, if the nightmares completely win, their end goal is to just kill everybody. So if the nightmares got their way, there would be no survivors.
Would humanity collectively have nothing but bad dreams?
Yeah, it would be nightmares time. Everybody would, plus it would be even worse than that, because the nightmares would basically get access to your head at night. So, you would have bad dreams, but they could also drive you insane and get people doing actual insanity type of things.
The Dark Ages.
Yeah. So it would be a big pile of not great.
Ooh. No thanks. If Dreamkeeper is getting a tabletop RPG, should we try to suggest it for roleplay groups like Legends of Animals?
I actually don't know enough about roleplay groups to know what would be appropriate to suggest. So I'll say that's totally up to your discretion. If you know of people that are looking for more roleplay systems or whatever, we'd be totally fine if you wanted to point them towards Dreamkeepers. It might make more sense to suggest it once we're getting closer to actually launching the campaign, because then they'd have the ability to act on their interest. They could be like, oh, I'm interested in this, and I'll join the pre-launch for this campaign, so I will know about it when I can get something. But yeah, if you know of people or groups that are into that sort of thing, and they're open to new experiences, new game systems, whatever, we would definitely be very appreciative if you wanted to just make them aware of us, so they would have another option on their plate. I do hope that the roleplay system is going to be really fun, because part of the whole appeal of Dreamkeepers is everyone having their own unique character in the dream world, and they have powers and different weapons and mounts and familiars and yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, if they're happy doing D&D, I don't want people to be like, oh, you have to try this other thing, you have to, because that might, you don't want to be obnoxious necessarily, but I don't know, it doesn't hurt to float it out and just be like, oh, hey, if you guys wanted something, here's kind of what this flavor would be like if you're interested, and then people can make their own decisions from there. So I think I would imagine the sweet spot would be making people aware of something that they might enjoy, and then letting them, once they have a bit of an accurate little portrait of oh, here's what it's sort of like, then they can make up for themselves if they want to, give it a try or whatnot. Because ultimately it's going to be up to everyone, what is worth my time? What is a new thing I want to try? But I will say, to date, I think virtually all of our success with Dreamkeepers is due to people sharing it. Because
Power for unlimited rifle ammo.
is there a power for unlimited rifle ammo?
About ammo.
I guess there could potentially be a power for that. Just because I really don't put a lot of limitations necessarily on what the powers are. Granted, once we get the actual roleplay system put in place, we might provide guidance for the GMs in terms of like some powers you might want to put a little bit of limit on, some powers you might want to like keep from being too powerful. Although I think the general way we want to handle it in the game is that we want to let people have very powerful abilities. It's just that there's going to be some trade-offs that are inherent to that. All right, got all these little shadows on the buildings. Let me save so far.
You got 5 minutes.
Only 5 minutes? Yeah, I'm not gonna...
It's evening for Nico.
Hey, Nico, good evening. I don't think I'm gonna quite get this done in 5 minutes, but I can still make progress on the ambient occlusion lighting. So the shadows look a little weird right now, but as soon as I start putting the other part of the shadows on the ground, that should make it look a little more like it actually makes sense. And then, of course, I'll mask it off a good deal from where it is currently.
You can make things appear, but you gotta poop it out.
Oh, that would be such oh, that would be brutal. It's like, you can make things appear from anywhere, but it's in your rectum.
Squat.
This power is very potent. Ah.
What level would that be, Dave? A 1?
Level 6.
Without a gun.
Level 6 gun poop.
You're pooping on ammo. A literal golden goose. I'd be terrible if you had a goose character and poops on ammo. Ew.
People cannot have powers like that. They are not allowed to just make fun of this game that is made for people to have fun. They must take it seriously. You're not taking my cartoon animals seriously. I'll kill you. Banned. Yeah.
It gives a different meaning to Gunsmoke.
I'm excited about Ascension, though. The other reason I'm excited about the Lost Sun campaign is because, you know, I'm doing Volume 6, I'm doing Prelude, I love doing these comics, but granted, it does take a lot of time and effort to literally draw every single panel and convey all the narrative of everything that happens. Whereas the storyline in a roleplay game, because the exact way things happen is really determined by player actions and player choices, it means that I don't have to draw a zillion panels to delineate all the action. It's just going to be, you know, the campaign book is going to sort of lay out for the game master, like, okay, here's the different things that could happen here, here's what we should be aware of in this scene, this is what this area is like, here's what this character's motives might be, and then, so I guess I'm just saying there's actually a lot less work when it comes to putting it together. Like, don't get me wrong, it's still gonna be work, I still want to make a lot of art for the campaign book as well, but it's not going to be as much art as is necessary for a graphic novel. So I think that it's going to be really fun because we've got an amazing story in mind for the Lost Sun campaign, and I feel like it's going to be so fun to be able to get it out there relatively quick compared to what I'm used to. I also want it to be...
Well, for powers, my idea for drinks for powers is being able to inhale toxins, propane, and genetics.
Nice.
Oh, well, that's not gonna save you, but I mean, if you're really good at huffing stuff, good job, you.
I'm going to be in the Neon Knives, and my power is I can do all the drugs.
Great. Well, that's the survival.
My power is I'm super addicted.
That's playing on her level.
Yeah.
Oh, exhale. They exhale.
Oh, they exhale. That's pretty cool.
Crystal meth power. So they basically, like, breathe out smoke.
My Dreamkeeper's power is I never have to brush my teeth.
Like breathing it out at people. That's a little better.
That is cool.
It's better than my idea.
Yeah, when I'm joking around on stream, I hope no one takes it too personally. Like, he just trashed my power idea. What an asshole. Like, I'm just goofing around. In reality, I think everyone's power idea is super good.
Are you planning to send a review copy to RPG reviewers?
Actually, I might be asking the readership what would be a good idea in terms of promotion. Because again, I'm so with my nose in this like art corner scribbling all the time that I don't really know what the best way is to get something in front of consumers and customers. So I'll probably, once we actually get closer to having the books done and we're looking at a campaign and it's like on the verge of, you know, actually delivering to people, at that point I'll probably be like, hey, now that we have something that is ready to show, guys, do you know where I should put it? Where do people...
They're pretty sure Dreamkeeper said the power of walking all damn bear claws my favorite. Firing plasma balls is pretty fun.
What vault?
No, firing plasma balls.
Oh, plasma. Yeah, plasma balls are always fun. There's never been someone that had the ability to throw a plasma ball being like, but it's kind of boring, actually. Nope, it's not. It's always fun.
Well, so they're thinking that power of toxins would be useful for an assassin.
Totally.
Making it look like an accident.
It's kind of similar to Pepito's death touch that he was busting out. But it's different because this is like exhaling, which is even more crafty and subtle. It's cool. Aqueducts all over the city.
I love aqueducts. Got some coming up in the next one. No, it is after time, but
Oh, have I exceeded my time frame?
you know.
I have. Well, and I don't think I'm within striking distance of getting this done in like just another 10 minutes, Mom. It's like, nope, it's not gonna happen. Sorry, but we made some good progress on it. It is looking like all these teeny tiny little buildings are going to be totally ignored, but they will look marvelous and add to the overall impression that viewers get when they see this page in the book.
Can you zoom out? Did you zoom out?
Yep, I'm zoomed out. Ta-da! And of course, we also did finish the shading for the GarageBand art print that's going to be in that campaign, which is coming up, I don't know, hopefully it's running by the time CouchCon is going live. So we've been doing a lot of this, and that's it for today's stream. I hope you guys have been enjoying it. If you're not familiar, we stream every Monday, 2 to 4. We stream every Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern.
Which I'm best at something for heat evaporated himself.
Say what?
Best at something for heat evaporated himself.
Yeah. All right, well, yep, jump onto our, I think we got a link tree, which should make it easier to share links now. Yeah, I can actually just toss this in the chat. So if you want to keep up with us, we've got a newsletter linked in the link tree. There's Patreon if you want to jump in and get rewards and all that stuff. So you guys have a great rest of the week,
Give me
and
a minute, I gotta move this over to YouTube.
and we will be doing stuff. All right, stream ends in...
No, wait.
Oh, you got to move that link over to YouTube.
Wait a minute, 'cause you're not on YouTube.
That's true. Yeah, put it in the YouTube chat, I guess. Are you having trouble copy pasting? You got it? Okay. Stream ends in 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and a 1.